Lesson 3-19 Practice Real and Non-Real Solutions. Question 1. Refer to the graphs and without calculating the solutions, determine whether each equation has real solutions or not. Y equals negative 1/2 x squared plus 3x. Now you can see it touches the x-axis at 0 and at 6. It has two real solutions. X squared minus 4x plus 7 equals 0. You can see this graph is above the x-axis. It does not touch the x-axis. It has no real solutions. 2x squared minus 2x minus 1 equals 0. The graph touches the x-axis there and there. Two real solutions. They want to know when the first graph touches the line y equals 3. All right, the line y equals 3 is a horizontal line right here. You can see it touches once and twice. Two real solutions. They want to know when the second graph touches the line y equals 5. Again, if you make a horizontal line at y equals 5, it touches it there and there. Again, two real solutions. And then they want to know when the last graph touches the line y equals negative 4. You can see that graph is above the line y equals negative 4, so it has no real solutions. Question 2. The graph shows the equation y equals 2x squared plus 1/2 x minus 4. Based on the graph, what number could you put in the blank to create an equation that has no real solutions? All right, you can see the vertex of the parabola is at negative 4. So if we set it equal to any number less than negative 4, the graph would never touch that line. So if it was like negative 5, right, it never would touch that line. So any number less than negative 4. Question 3. This question has two parts. First answer part A, then answer part B. Part A. The graph shows the equation y equals 1.5x squared minus 3x plus 2. Complete the statement to describe the solutions to 1.5x squared minus 3x plus 2 equals 0 without calculating the solutions. This equation has blank solutions. It has no solutions. As you can see, it is above the x-axis. It never touches the x-axis. It has no real solutions. How do you find the non-real solutions? Well, you would need the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula has you identify A, B, and C. In this case, A is 1.5, B is negative 3, and C is 2. The quadratic formula begins with the opposite of B, which is 3, plus or minus. That means there's two answers. B squared, which is 9, minus 4 times A times C, which is 12. 9 minus 12 is negative 3. The 3 divided by 3 is 1, and the square root of negative 3 is I times the square root of 3. So A is correct. Question 4. What quadratic equation could you write that has two non-real solutions? If you start with the graph of y equals x squared and blank 4, it would raise the graph above the x-axis. Well, you would have to add 4. And added 4, it would raise the graph above the x-axis. And then there would be no real value of x that would make y be 0. So you could write equation blank. Which one do they add 4? It'd be equation 1. Question 5. Match the solution or solutions to each equation. All right, to solve these, we're going to use the quadratic formula. For the first one, I'm going to multiply each term by -2. Multiplied by -2, I get 4x squared minus 4x, and then that would be -5, but we would add it to both sides to be +5. That would mean A is 4, B is -4, and C is 5. The opposite of B would be +4. 4 squared would be 16, and 4 times 4 times 5, C is 5. That is 80. 16 minus 80 is -64. 2 times 4 is 8. 4/8 is the same as 1/2. 1/2, which is the same as 0.5. And the square root of -64 would be 8i. 8i divided by 8 would be just I. For the second one, we're going to multiply everything by 2. When you multiply everything by 2, you get 9x squared plus 6x plus 1 equals 0. 9x squared plus 6x plus 1. A is 9, B is 6, C is 1. You can already see it as one solution. It touches the x-axis once. The opposite of B would be -6. B squared would be 36. A is 9. C is 1. 2 times 9 is 18. The denominator is 18. -6 divided by 18 is -1/3. And that's the answer because 36 minus 36 is 0. The square root of 0 is, so there's only one answer. It would be -1/3. -1/3. For the next one, we'll multiply everything by 2 and add 28 to both sides. When you multiply everything by 2, you get x squared plus 10x equals -28. You add 28 to both sides, you get x squared plus 10x plus 28. That means A is 1, B is 10, and C is 28. The opposite of B would be -10. 10 squared would be 100. 4 times A is 1, and C is 28. 4 times 28, I don't know what that is. 2 times 1 is 2. 4 times 28, let's see, that'd be 56. 112. 100 minus 112 would be -12. So we got -10 divided by 2, which is -5. -5 plus, yeah, it's got to be this one. -5 plus I times the square root of 3. So let's see, -12 is 4 times 3. The square root of 4 is 2. The 2's cancel out, so you just have I times the square root of 3. The last one, we're going to subtract 7 from both sides, giving us -2, and then multiply everything by -1. We are going to subtract 7 from both sides, giving us -2, but we're going to go ahead and multiply everything by -2 to get rid of the 1.5. So -2 times -x squared, it'd be 2x squared, times -1.5 would be plus 3x, and then times -2 would be plus 4. Plus 4. That makes AB2, BB3, and CB4. Opposite of B would be -3. b squared would be 9. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 2 is 8. Times 4 is 32. 9 minus 32, what's that? Negative 23. 2 times 2 is 4. The denominator is 4. We have negative 3/4. It's obviously this answer, negative 3/4. And apparently, the square root of negative 23 divided by 4 is I times the square root of 5.75 divided by 2. Last question. Elena and Kieran were solving the equation 2x squared minus 4x plus 3 equals 0, and they got different answers. Elena wrote 1 plus I times the square root of 1/2, and Kieran wrote 1 plus or minus I times the square root of 8 divided by 4. Are their answers equivalent? How do you know? All right, so I don't know, but if we squared I times the square root of 5, we get I squared is negative 1, and then the square root of 1/2 times the square root of 1/2 is 1/2. Negative 1 times 1/2 is negative 1/2. If we square I times the square root of 8 divided by 4, again, I squared is negative 1. The square root of 8 times the square root of 8 is 8. Negative 1 times 8 is negative 8. Divided by the square of 4 is 16. Negative 8 divided by 16 is negative 1/2. So, are their answers equivalent? Yes.